linear kilometers of bike lanes.
Yep.
We're still struggling, and that's because it's been a lot more difficult to get the political buy-in.
Well, this is my case. Why is there a political buy-in to health and safety?
Well, because
why do these people have a right to tell me where I can be more reasonably safe in the city on a block-to-block basis? It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, that's the democratic process of Canada.
No, the democratic process is something that has an informed and engaged electorate voting for responsible matters. That's the whole purpose of it. We don't have that. And here's why. Here's my case against this. You're going to return Jarvis Street to what it was before the 2009 vote to put in the bike lanes, right?
Yes.
So you're not going to make any other changes other than that?
Not for bicycles. I guess
okay.
The theory is that the bicycles will be encouraged to ride down Sherbourne in a separated bike lane instead of on an on-road bike lane on Jarvis.
Yeah, but that's based on the false idea that we should have an arbitrary network of bike lanes instead of having bike lanes and safer cycling infrastructure on all arterial streets. Why should we be restricted, people that are following the city's advice and moving in a more sustainable manner, why should we be restricted to the destinations that we can safely reach?
There's two reasons.
Okay.
One is there is not the political appetite to do it. And number two is if you say had a vote of the residents of the city right now, I don't think they would want a lot of arterial roads narrow, the number of vehicle lanes narrow to accommodate bike lanes.
Well, why do we have sidewalks everywhere?
But I'm not. Okay, I don't shoot the messenger.
Hey, believe me, I understand that sentiment.
If we get so much pushback when we're trying to put bike lanes, and we were 2 years ago, we were trying to be aggressive. We went out, we tried to put it on Lawrence Avenue in Scarborough. We got beat up.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is that you were right to do that.
But we kept on beating up, and the politicians were saying, we don't want it because our residents don't want it.
Yeah, because they'd lose votes and they'd lose their job, even if it was the right thing to do.
And that's what, and we would have wanted to become more aggressive, the bike lanes, and we're just being shut down.
Okay.
And so what I suggested a year ago, let's change gears.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse the pun.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand.
Instead of putting bike lanes in, let's put bike trails all over there.
But that doesn't help get rid of the traffic.
My theory is at least if you put a bike trail, someone from Scarborough can at least ride downtown in a comfortable fashion. And if you get more and more people using those bike trails, they're going to say, we want more bike trails or we want more bike lanes, and you get a lot more support instead of a hand.
So you're sort of saying they will come, and then we will build it.
But it's easier for me to do it in trails, and
Of course it is. Of course it is. That's why it's easy to do. It's the difficult, responsible job that's tougher.
And that's why if I can get more and more people riding the bikes, and they're going to say, well, I want to not only ride on trails, I want to ride on the roadways.
Right.
Right now, a lot of people are saying, no, I'm not going on roadways, and part of it's safety, but part of it is just the limited demand. And my strategy is if you start building these trail networks, and you start, we're going to have the separated bike lanes on certain roads, that it will, say 5 years from now, we're hoping that it'll be, people say, there's a lot more people saying, we want more bike lanes. But right now, I'm getting beat up. My staff are getting beat up because very small proportion of the residents want bike lanes, and times are changing, but it's not changing fast enough.
It's not changing fast enough, and the reason it's not changing fast enough is that people are not making the responsible decisions in the halls of government.
And that's you can't beat staff up. You got to go. It's really you got to go the political route. And
okay.
And one of the things like last year, it was really tough to get the public bike program approved.
Yep.
I had all kinds of hurdles and put up in front of me, but
What, for Bike Month?
No, the Bixie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We went through hell trying to get approval for that.
Yep.
Finally, we did.
Yep.
We put it out this year. It's been a tremendous success.
Right.
But do you think I can get more money to enlarge it?
No, not from these guys.
And so I've got my staff looking at creative financial thinking. How do we double it for next year? But right now we're getting pushback because they say there's no money. And
okay, let's talk about something specific, and it's the specific thing that I've been talking to the mayor about, the Jarvis bike lanes. Okay, we are going to put in 5 3-meter wide motor vehicle lanes. Is that what's happening?
Yes.
Okay, so the curb lanes, they will not be wide enough for a car and a bicycle to pass.
Unfortunately, you're right.
Okay, so we're going to put sharrows in when we put the 5 bike lane or the 5.
I don't even know if we can put sharrows in.
Why?
Because I don't know if we want to put it in a 3-meter lane. Because I don't want to encourage cycling on Jarvis in
Why?
3-meter lanes.
Why?
Your very arguments that
it's one of the most dangerous downtown streets. I rode this as a bike courier for years.
I would not be comfortable riding on Jarvis.
So are we going to ban cycling from Jarvis Street?
But are going to encourage cycling on Sherbourne.
Well, that's ridiculous. That no one is going to go out of their way, on a wet day to go over to Sherbourne to go and to come back to Jarvis if that's where they're going.
Don't forget, don't try to convert the converted.
Okay, but here's the thing, Gary.
Yeah.
We got to stop this now.
Okay,
it's not you understand this. But you understand this.
I've had discussions with Minnan-Wong, but the direction he wants to go right now is separated bike lanes.
Okay, but he's an idiot. And here's the thing. I took time out of my day. I don't get paid for this. I haven't gotten paid for this for 30 years.
Yeah.
I do this because I know something that other people are now catching on to, that we all know is the right thing to do, but we've got a political will going the other way where they are placating they're placating their base, and they're going after something that's looked at as symbolically a symbol that will say that they're going the other way. If we have to put sharrows in on Jarvis Street in the curb lanes, those Moore Park residents that are so hot about this will have now 3 unencumbered motor vehicle lanes because the 2 curb lanes will be subject to the speed of the slowest cyclist on the road at the time. And they've got 4 now, and we've got 2 bike lanes beside it. Now, I went to talk to Councilor Minnan-Wong about this, and his response was, I said, you realize we're taking out cycling safer infrastructure and we're making the street less safe for everybody on the street. And he said, I don't care. He said he didn't care because he didn't want to talk about the Jarvis Street bike lanes because it had already passed through council. And the way they did that, you were there at the meeting, I've seen the video of the meeting. And Sonny goes around from the mayor's office, goes around and talks to all of the councillors that voted for Parker's late amendment to take out Jarvis Street. And when I questioned the mayor about this and told him what Sonny was doing, he said, what? You mean he was lobbying the vote? That's the way the mayor characterized what I told him I'd seen on the video. And then when the mayor sends me to talk to Minnan-Wong, Minnan-Wong says he doesn't care. He's dealing with a 2-dimensional pushing paper around on his desk.
What do you want me to do? Because I can write reports galore, but one way, they may not even be put on the agenda, and number two, if they are, they may not be approved under the present.
What you should be doing is letting the public and the Public Works Committee know that if those 5 bike lanes go back, or those 5 motor vehicle lanes go back in, sharrows will have to be put in there because it's the only safe way to let cyclists use the street. Okay. The alternative is...
Well, if they're trying to accommodate 5 lanes of vehicle traffic, I'm not putting sharrows in. If they're putting...
Well, what are you going to do with the cyclists that are on Jarvis then?
I don't want to encourage cyclists on Jarvis because of what council's told me to do.
Because it's such a dangerous street.
And so I don't...
Because it's such a dangerous street for cycling.
I don't want the cyclists to... if anything, they're going to have to use Sherburne or...
but that doesn't work. This whole idea doesn't work.
Yeah, but that's the reality I am faced with.
But it doesn't work, and you...
I can't tell Minnan-Wong that I'm putting sharrows in because he won't let me.
How can he not?
He controls what I spend my money on.
So one man controls the safety and the security of people that are doing what the city is telling them to do to address...
I follow, when they told me to rip them up or put them in, I had no say in that. So,
okay, just let me get this straight. So, in your role as General Manager of Transportation of Toronto, if you're told to do something that is going to be unsafe for the citizens of Toronto that are paying everybody's salary...
Okay,
you're going to do it?
No, I would say I would try to minimize the impact. We have roads right now other roads that I would be hesitant to ride a bike on.
Yeah, but that's not the point. We've got a road now that you can ride a bike on more safely.
But
right?
Political direction right now...
But Gary, is that right? We now have that Jarvis Street stretch where they have the bike lanes. It's safer than it was before they made the change, and it's going to be less safe when we do make the change back to what it was.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Well, then how can you do that?
Because council's told me to do it.
But where's your integrity?
Well...
your job is General Manager of Transportation.
If I refuse to do it,
yeah,
they walk me out the door tomorrow.
That's right. That's right.
I'm not prepared to lose the war over this. There's other battles I want to fight.
Which war are you talking about?
Cyclists.
We have a right to be safe reasonably on our city streets.
If I tried to put sharrows on the road the day after it goes to 5 lanes...
It should be the day it goes to 5 lanes.
Then the next day I'm going to be told to remove them.
You are purposefully and knowingly making the streets less safe if you put those 5 lanes in. Without sharrows, you are purposefully making the city street, that one, less safe for cyclists. And I would argue it makes the street less safe for pedestrians as well, because the cyclists will get back on the sidewalk, which was the original goal of improving that.
And there's other occasions where council's told me to address the street for some other reasons that, in my opinion, is not as safe as what we have now. But if council gives me direction, I try to minimize the impact. And when I look at the impact we've had over the last couple of years, our accident and fatalities have fallen dramatically. And I can only argue to a limited degree, because they're going to say, well, how many fatalities have you had this year compared to 10 years ago? Well, it's half. How many accidents have you had this year compared to 10 years ago? It's a third less. Well, what are you saying? Our roads are less safe today than they were 10 years ago.
Who, me?
No, but that's what they would say to me, because our safety record has improved over the years, and
What, with all those terrible cyclists out on the road, it's actually gotten better?
If you look at
Oh, you know I have. And you'll also know that from 2003, 2004, when the We're All Pedestrians campaign that I was so involved in happened, the 6 years before it compared to the 6 years after, we've got a full quarter of the fatalities less after that program, the 2 years that it was in. A full quarter.
But I cannot. You're preaching to the wrong person. I cannot go in and paint Cheryl on Jarvis. I've been told to restore it to 5 lanes.
Right.
I tried to quietly argue against it.
Yes.
And I was told to do it.
Okay, so here's the thing, though. This is what I'm taking from it, and this is what I'm going to be reporting back to the mayor with.
Yeah.
You admit that the streets are going to be, that Jarvis Street will be less safe for cyclists when we put it back to 5 lanes.
Yes.
But you're not going to ban cycling, and you're on Jarvis.
I can't ban cycling.
I know, and so the city, by intentionally moving to make the streets less safe for cyclists,
but then,
and not putting the sharrows in.
I could argue the opposite. That
what's that?
To make streets safe as possible for cyclists, we should have separated bike lanes on every major street in the city. And would that improve safety for cyclists?
I don't think so. I think these separated bike lanes are a huge crock. They're sexy and all that, but if you put the bike lanes in the way we have them now, right? We've had these for years, and you ticket the motorists that are parked in them, especially the delivery vehicles that have got carte blanche for the last decade. Then those painted on lines do work, and they do work fine.
But some people will feel more safer with the separated bike.
So once again, the thousands of people, the tens of thousands of people in this city that have taken the city's advice and are riding now to get from place to place, they're being put at added risk while we go through this sexy experiment.
And then the city will come back and say, well, they can use Sherburne instead of Jarvis.
And who's the city? This is Denzel Minnan-Wong again?
Well, basically, that's what he's been saying, yes.
Yeah, but he doesn't know anything about what he's talking about.
He may not know about it. His position, he's the chair of Public Works.
But he doesn't know anything about it.
Oh, but his role, he has an important role to dictate policy in the city.
So once again, we're putting citizens' lives at risk.
But the citizens elect
Nobody elected Denzel Minnan-Wong to put this together. The mayor appointed him, and then he tries to back off and says it has nothing to do with my political base and placating them. I don't even have anything to do with it. Again, but then he sends Sonny in to lobby the vote before they...
Okay, but again, you're working in a political environment. The politicians...
I come back to the same argument. It's health and safety. These clowns should have nothing to do with these decisions.
They do, because they basically dictate everything I have to do.
The coroner's 1998 report was the first place I saw this in writing, this idea of going after the comprehensive bike lane network. Yeah. We haven't done it. We've got another coroner's report coming out in the spring that'll drag all of this stuff back up.
Yeah.
If what you've told me now is relayed to them, as far as the way you see doing your job, and the fact that you are going to do what this one clown tells you to do.
Oh, no, he's be the chair of Works Committee?
Yeah, I'm just telling you. I've seen the video.
Council's told me.
I've seen the video of the thing where he is where
but
the mayor's
is influential in council. Same as the mayor is influential in council. But council's basically told me to restore Jarvis Street to 5 lanes.
But no one has talked about the fact that that was an unsafe street that shouldn't have been the way it was. Shouldn't have never been designed the way it was. I can't imagine that they're talking about putting back that ridiculous reversible lane too. Yeah. Are you going to be party to that?
I've been instructed to do that.
Gary, how can you do this? You know that's stupid.
I can't. The City of Toronto Council has told me to install it.
But where's your responsibility to the citizens of Toronto?
What do you expect me to do? Say no?
Yes.
And what happens again? What do you think would happen then?
You go to the press. You tell the press the reason why.
I should not be going to the press.
Why not?
Because I don't use the press. I give advice to council. I don't give advice to the press.
It's the safety of the citizens of Toronto that we're talking about.
My job, I am paid by the City of Toronto. My job is to give advice.
You are paid by the City of Toronto, so you're paid by the citizens of Toronto.
No, I am paid by Toronto Council. I'm not paid.
And who pays the taxes that
I follow directions from the City of Toronto. I give them advice. I have the limited responsibilities. There is, if the media can report on, make an opinion on based on what they observe. But my job is not going to lobby the media. My job is to give advice to the City of Toronto Council.
Well, I'm.
They may take my advice, and.
Well, have you gone to Denzel Minnan-Wong and told him that you're going to have to put sharrows in there if everybody lobbies for this?
I haven't even really looked at it.
Why not?
Because I've got so many other things on my plate right now. I got others.
Then why be a party to this sham?
Because
you were at that meeting and you saw how they took that they rescinded approval.
I have staff that are dealing with it.
Well, what's the answer?
And has it happened yet? No. And is there going to be further discussion? Yes. Will I be told to do something different? Probably not. But
there is going to be legal action taken against the city for the first 2 bike lanes that have been removed. There is also a campaign worldwide to talk about the fact that Toronto is the worst city in the world, developed city in the developed world as far as transportation and the direction we're taking, because we are taking out cycling safer infrastructure.
But that's the decision of the City of Toronto Council. That has not been recommended by the General Manager of Transportation, and I can make recommendations, but City of Toronto Council tells me what to do.
So I can use that. You have not recommended that they take out the bike lanes.
No.
Have you said that they shouldn't take out the bike lanes?
I did not.
Why not?
What?
Why not? Knowing that it's going to make the streets less safer for a visible minority in our city.
As it when it got brought up, at the council, a committee meeting that I had no previous knowledge to.
Right, you had no knowledge. The public had no knowledge. There was no discussion. And you know why he's basing this on? The fact that they can rescind this approval is because staff didn't know what the hell they were talking about. He's told me this, that staff didn't know what the hell they were talking about when they agreed to put in the bike lanes. And when that whole Jarvis
on widening the sidewalks.
Were you involved in the widening of the sidewalks decision?
Yes.
You were?
Yes.
Okay. And so the widening of the sidewalks, in your eyes, took precedence over the safety of the cyclists?
In that particular area, yes.
Why?
Because I was looking at, I don't only look at cyclists, I look at pedestrians. And
but the pedestrians have a sidewalk.
Well, no, but that's...
on a street that you're saying this...
Okay, we're going to agree to disagree, and I got to go. I think I can't change it. You're going to have to either depute at works committee.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
After 30 years, I've told my family I wouldn't do this anymore. When's the next one? Do you know?
November the 8th, I believe.
Okay. I'm also working on a documentary on this. We've got footage of the bike lanes coming out. We've got all sorts of statistics as to how our city has improved as far as the path we've been on. And the fact now that we are moving in a different direction purely for two-dimensional political reasons. Now, this is the thing. I know you got to go, so I'll let you go. I'll run before I do anything publicly. I will run this stuff by you, and I will get back to you if you'd like after I speak to the mayor about our conversation.
Okay, and basically, I want to sum it up because we had limited success doing bike lanes. Our priorities right now is building a trail network. At least people can get around.
Yeah, but it doesn't get people off the streets. It doesn't get cars off the streets.
No,
it doesn't.
It is a start.
But no, it isn't.
You got to.
A start would have been 25 years ago.
I know. But
we are well into it. We're not starting anything. We're not changing gears. That's a joke. We are this far into a failure.
Well, we're going to have to agree to disagree.
Okay. Thanks for talking to me, Gary. I hope you have a good weekend.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, man.